Sharp claws, deadly fangs, massive size, and a lethal ability to kill. The lion, the king of the jungle and one of the fiercest animals on Earth alone. But what happens when lions unite in one deadly killing coalition? Dear viewers, thank you for following us and welcome to today's new video, which will take us on an exciting journey across the savanna plains and the dangerous forests of Africa to learn together about one of the most dangerous lion coalitions in African history. Our story begins in 2009. In South Africa, a pride of lions lived between the savanna plains of the Sabi Sand Reserve, hunting and controlling a vast area of land rich in prey and resources. As usual with lions, the young males had to be expelled before they grew stronger and threatened the rule of the dominant males. And indeed, in 2009, 5 young cubs were expelled from the pride to face the dangers of the wild on their own. The 5 lions roamed the reserve as nomads without belonging to a pride or coalition, a difficult and dangerous stage in a lion's life. They tried to survive by hunting together, quietly, without making noise or provoking stronger coalitions or fierce prides that could threaten their lives since they were still young and inexperienced lions without the strength of battle. And so, life continued without conflict until 2010, when one of the 5 lions entered the hunting grounds ruled by a coalition of 2 fierce, powerful males who were once part of one of the most dangerous and largest coalitions in history, the Mapogo lions. The 2 lions, King Tail and Mr. T, known as the Devil, were not pleased by the intrusion of the young lion into their protected land. They considered it a grave insult and attacked him brutally. The confrontation ended with the young lion's death, leaving him as a warning to all who dared enter their territory. But before dying, he managed to inflict a serious injury to King Tail's leg. That sacrifice was the spark that ignited the coalition we speak of today. The remaining 4 lions did not stand idly by. They continued to observe King Tail throughout the day until evening came, when they cornered him alone. Park rangers and surveillance cameras recorded the moment when the 4 lions approached, roaring at the top of their voices, declaring war and the birth of the Majingilane coalition. And because numbers overwhelm bravery, the 4 lions brutally killed the injured King Tail, avenging their fallen brother. The brutality was such that rangers reported the sound of King Tail's spine breaking resembled gunfire as the 4 furious lions attacked him. At the end, Mr. T appeared, trying to avenge his partner. But the 4 lions, now stronger and more confident in their intelligence and power, defeated him with ease. The group gained confidence in themselves after killing King Tail. They were no longer small cubs who had to hunt quietly to survive. Mr. T fled his land, wounded and grieving, roaring all night for his lifelong friend who had been slain by the Majingilane. He returned humiliated to his old coalition, the Mapogo, leaving behind his legacy in the hands of the Majingilane lions. Dark Mane, the massive, dominant leader of the group with his jet-black mane, and his inseparable friend Scar Nose, recognizable by his scarred nose and large body. Golden Mane, with his shining golden mane, who often preferred solitude and was easily recognized by his 3 fangs, having lost the 4th in a battle. And finally, Hip Scar, the youngest and weakest of the group, named after his injured hip. He was the only one not related by blood to the others. These 4 terrifying lions formed the legendary Majingilane coalition, which seized control of the entire southern sector of the Sabi Sand Reserve after expelling the Mapogo lions. This vast sector measured 267 square kilometers. As always, after expelling rival males, the coalition had to impose its dominance over the lionesses, and that is exactly what they did. They attacked the prides of lionesses and asserted their dominance over 2 prides, the Sparta Pride and the Tsalala Pride. The first thing they did was kill all the male cubs, ensuring that none would grow up to challenge their reign. Thus, they eliminated the threat of Mapogo cubs forever. Peace and absolute control reigned over the Majingilane territory. They expelled all roaming males from their land and secured their borders against rival coalitions until 2011. That year, 5 intruding males, the Salati males, entered Majingilane lands. Their story resembled the early struggles of the Majingilane themselves, but they lacked the patience and wisdom that had allowed the Majingilane to seize power the year before. They charged recklessly, trying to conquer the Majingilane, but fate was not in their favor. The coalition easily defeated them, killed 1 lion, and expelled the others, winning their first major challenge, but not their last. In 2012, another coalition dared to attack Majingilane territory, the Sand River Males, 3 massive adult lions. But their smaller numbers compared to the Majingilane, combined with their recklessness, led to their defeat and retreat across the reserve. The Majingilane cornered one of the attackers and nearly killed him, but a nearby herd of elephants, disturbed by the roars and chaos, charged at the lions and scattered them, allowing the intruder to escape death at the last moment. But the story did not end there. In 2014, the Sand River Males returned once more, undeterred by their earlier defeat. But the Majingilane, now older, stronger, and more battle-hardened, crushed them again, killing one, fatally wounding another, and forcing the third to flee, leaving his companions to face the most dangerous and bloodthirsty coalition in Africa. After this last battle, the Majingilane expanded their control, seizing the hunting grounds once ruled by the Sand River Males. Like every kingdom on earth, and like human kingdoms, dangers are not only external. Sometimes they come from within. Less than a year after the Sand River battle, 2 young sons of the Majingilane lions attempted to overthrow their fathers and seize power. But their youthful arrogance and ignorance of the fact that a lion will never allow even his son to dethrone him led them to a crushing defeat and humiliating expulsion. Not long after, in 2015, another coalition, the Birmingham Boys, challenged the Majingilane. They were 5 strong lions, believing their numbers gave them an advantage over the 4 Majingilane who had endured years of internal and external battles. But the Majingilane, scarred yet unbroken, repelled the invaders and continued their reign of power for another year without serious rivals. But golden ages never last forever. In 2016, a powerful coalition of 2 massive adult males struck at Dark Mane, the Majingilane leader. They were the Matimba lions. One dark night, they ambushed Dark Mane, who had strayed from his brothers, and inflicted severe wounds to his hind leg, back, and neck, leaving him close to death. But the Majingilane sensed the looming danger, rescued Dark Mane, and drove the Matimbas away, never to threaten them again. Yet this attack was a grim warning that the coalition's decline was near. In February 2017, tragedy struck. Hipscar died, weakened by an old injury that left him unable to hunt. Gradually, he starved to death. As Hipscar had been the weakest of the group, the Majingilane did not falter much. They continued ruling their lands for another year, until 2018. Then, Golden Mane disappeared without a trace. Most believe he died from wounds after a failed buffalo hunt. Only Scarnose and Darkmane remained, 2 aging lions worn down by years of battle and struggle. They separated to search for food, their strength and spirit fading. In April 2018, Scarnose died of old age, his vision weakened, leaving him unable to hunt. Darkmane, devastated, roared in grief over his lifelong friend. 2 weeks later, he too died, leaving behind only echoes of their roars. Thus ended the Majingilane coalition, leaving a legacy of vast territories, bloody battles, and dominance undone only by time and age. The Majingilane were not the strongest coalition in lion history, nor did they match the ferocity of the Mapogo, but they were among the most cooperative and intelligent, building a terrifying force that overcame powerful rivals before them.
In the wild world, where strength and cunning rule, a name echoed like a legend among the predators. It was Sultan, the lion no enemy dared to challenge, an absolute king who ruled with an iron fist, surrounded by a group of lionesses ready to serve him at every moment. But in a world where thrones are won through blood and fierce battles, could the tides shift into a nightmare that topples even the strongest kings from their mighty thrones? So let us delve today into the story of a living legend, the story of Sultan the Lion, who alone led 16 lionesses and crushed enemies with his might and ferocity. Get ready, because this story will take you on a journey full of surprises and excitement. In the depths of northwestern Ethiopia, where secrets lie nestled within untouched nature, stands Alatash National Park, one of the most remote and mysterious areas on Earth. For many years, this region remained an unsolved enigma, hiding within its vast landscapes secrets untouched by human hands. In 2016, the unexpected happened. Led by scientist Hans Bauer from the Born Free Foundation, researchers confirmed the astonishing discovery of a previously unknown group of lions living in this isolated land, estimated to number between 100 and 200 lions. These majestic predators roam the Alatash area and the nearby Dinder National Park in Sudan. Despite confirming their presence, observing these lions remains a major challenge to this day, especially due to limited funding, the vast size of the area, and the small number of rangers who often lack the necessary equipment. In addition, the park's geographical isolation makes continuous monitoring nearly impossible, leaving many mysterious events unfolding there. But in 2018, an unexpected report revealed something extraordinary. On a quiet morning, during a routine patrol, a local ranger noticed something unusual at a short distance: a majestic male lion, notable not only for his powerful presence, but also for the 16 impressive females following him with unwavering loyalty. Lions are rare in this area, so how could one male control such a large number of females? The scene was unusual by every standard. Fascinated by this rare pride, the ranger decided to investigate further. He noticed the lionesses were highly organized, moving in harmony and showing complete loyalty to their male leader. This unique behavior impressed the rangers, who gave the lion the name Sultan. But the bigger question remained: how did Sultan manage to gather such a large number of lionesses in an area where lions are few? The mystery began to unfold when a pair of strong young lions appeared in Sultan's territory. These were nomadic lions searching for an opportunity to seize a pride of their own, and Sultan's lionesses were a highly tempting prize, but Sultan was always one step ahead. From his hiding place among the acacia trees, he observed the invaders' movements carefully. Unlike most lions who roar to intimidate rivals, Sultan was patient. He didn't attack out of rage. He planned with great wisdom and clear cunning. The lionesses, for their part, showed no panic. They moved naturally, as if unaware of the danger, but this was all part of the strategy. So when the two nomadic lions separated, Sultan seized the opportunity. He moved like a silent shadow and charged at the first lion with lightning speed. The strike was powerful and decisive. He brought the intruder to the ground in moments. The strength Sultan displayed was astounding, making it impossible for his opponent to withstand. When the second lion heard the roar of battle, he rushed to help his companion. But upon seeing the first lion lying motionless, he chose to flee, realizing that facing Sultan meant certain death. In this way, Sultan once again proved he was an unbeatable king, and even after reinforcing his dominance, he refused to rest. In the wild, where strength is the law, there is no place for the weak. This lion was a living legend. Each day, his majestic presence could be seen confidently walking the borders of his territory, watching every inch of the land under his control. His vigilant eyes scanned the horizon, and any suspicious movement was enough to put him on high alert. As the months passed, Sultan continued to prove why he was a feared leader. Time and time again, he stopped nomadic lions from trespassing into his domain and drove them away, demonstrating his unmatched power and undisputed rule. But something began to draw the attention of the rangers observing the pride from afar. As the cubs grew, they noticed a strange pattern. All the cubs were female. Not a single male cub was born into Sultan's coalition. This discovery intrigued researchers because it diverged from the natural pattern. Statistically, the ratio of male to female lion cubs is about 30% males to 70% females. But here, the situation was entirely different. A new theory began to emerge. What if Sultan hadn't gathered all those lionesses over time? What if the females were actually the same ones from the original pride he had conquered? In large prides, it's expected that at least one male would appear in every litter. But in Sultan's case, that never happened, and it couldn't simply be a coincidence. Over time, the pride grew to 22 lionesses, 16 adults and 6 cubs, with signs of maturity starting to appear. Some lionesses were pregnant again, and the next few months would be crucial to understanding whether this pattern would continue. But fate had another surprise in store. This time, the danger didn't come in the form of a rival lion, but as hyenas. During a night patrol, Sultan found himself surrounded by a large pack of ravenous, furious hyenas. He was alone, yet he fought fiercely for his life. He managed to bring down several hyenas, but the wounds he sustained were severe, most of them fatal. As days passed, his wounds became infected, and fever consumed his body. He could no longer move as he once did. The lion, who once walked proudly, had become limping, dragging his legs painfully across the dry land. The lionesses tried to approach him, but the presence of a weak leader no longer comforted them. Sultan, the lion who was once a symbol of power, had become a shadow of what he used to be, a timeless tale etched into the landscape. Eventually, Sultan died, and with his departure, the lionesses remained together for a while, awaiting the arrival of a new male to take his place. But no lion came. The region was not crowded with nomadic males, and without a new leader, the pride's separation was inevitable. When the new cubs were born, only 3 survived, and the surprise? All of them were female again. The theory was confirmed. Perhaps Sultan was a majestic lion, a strategist, and an unbeatable warrior. But his lineage was unusual. He left behind no male heirs to carry on his legacy. Though this theory continues to fascinate researchers, it has not yet been fully confirmed. Scientists are still studying the phenomenon, trying to determine whether this pattern is repeating in other lion populations. Sultan's story does not end with his death. It is a story of unanswered questions, where mystery cloaks his legacy. He was one of the most exceptional lions in that region, leaving behind an army of females who later spread across the savanna in search of new kings.